Welcome and thanks for joining our webinar, Enrich Your Personalization with a Quality Data Management Strategy. I'm Kelly and I'm responsible for the marketing activities here at BitBang, and I'll be here to host the webinar today. Here with me, I have Gabriele Sibani, Account Executive at BitBang, and Ulisse Sarmiento, Director of Solution Consulting South Europe at Telium. Hi to you both.
Hello, Kelly. Hello, Kelly.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Gabriele. So I'll quickly go over a few housekeeping matters before we start. Firstly, thank you for joining us. We appreciate the time you've given to be here today. We know your time is precious, so we will endeavour to keep within about 30 minutes for the presentation, and we'll follow this with a question and answer session for any questions you have. Please do submit your questions at any time during the webinar, and we'll respond to these at the end. You will see in the attachments section below the State of CDP report created by Telium, so please feel free to download this. You will be able to view this webinar also on demand following our live session, so please feel free to come back to it at any time or share with your colleagues who can't make the live session today. We appreciate any feedback you have on this webinar, so if there is anything you wanted to see or information that you thought was particularly useful, your feedback is greatly appreciated. And finally, my favorite little icon there in the middle is just to say that we are all presenting from our homes today. So we are having to rely on our home broadband and mobile signals. So if we have any slight connection problems, please do bear with us. We will do our best to make this run smoothly. So for a quick overview, in this 30 minutes, we will try to cover why it's important now more than ever for businesses to adopt personalization strategies. We'll address if personalization is really heading to an end within marketing efforts and the pitfalls and struggles we may be experiencing today. You'll be shown how this can be avoided and what you can do to implement a winning personalization strategy with a strong focus on the customer journey. Lastly, but probably most importantly, you will see how your strategy can be effectively fulfilled with the right customer data platform. We'll finish the session with a question and answer session for any questions you have, and we'll leave this with some takeaway points. Okay, so I've already done too much talking, so I'll pass you straight over to Gabriele. Thanks, Gabriele.
Thank you, Kelly. Hi, everyone. I feel quite nervous now as I have to talk just after you and with your perfect British accent, but you've all got to bear with me that I'm sorry, but never mind.
Oh, don't worry, I've been practicing.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I'm Gabriele Sibani and I currently work as account executive in BitBang after quite a long experience as a designer and strategist for digital marketing projects such as analytics and personalization ones. Allow me just a few words about BitBang. We have almost 20 years of experience in enterprise data-driven analysis and projects, and our mission is to help organizations by leveraging their data in order to reach their business objectives by providing our experience and our best practices both on the technical and on the strategical side. We make that by partnering with the best technologies vendor, and we make that at scale. Today, we want to discuss our personalization project state of play, and for doing that, I'd like to start from the beginning, quite far back actually. Almost 100 years ago, as you can see, someone already states that people are keener to be convinced to buy if they get something very personal in a product, in a service, or in the message that must convince them to buy as well. Since then, we all know that selling is often influenced and depends on relationships. On the other hand, what is pretty new and that we are just about discovering now is that all these relationships need to be put into effect by providing unique and tailored experiences in order to seal this kind of marriage between a brand and its customer. This is what a personalization project is meant to achieve. If we look at last years, it seems like brands and research firms as well are getting to this point. While only 5 years ago personalization was meant to be a good leverage for customer loyalty, it moved fast from a plan of investment for most to something no longer optional for improving results. Then finally, now is the prime driver for success. According to survey and researches, customers themselves seem to confirm this need for personalization experience or products, and it comes out as well. They seem even more keen to share data with an organization, and we all know how data can be fundamental for a long-term, high-value relationship. So, as far as we are concerned until now, and considering some of the major impacts of personalization activities on brands and clients, it seems like personalization is a win-win, because in few words, personalization increases clients' value, should decrease costs for getting them to buy, and which is achieved by providing the customer exactly what they desire, how and just when they are willing to trust and spend money. Sound easy? I think it doesn't. Well, I could bet that some of you are turning up their nose. That seems so easy on the survey, in the researches, and on paper. But we know that behind the scenes, there are some concerns. First of all, from big expectations derive big responsibilities. Some brands raise the bar when we talk of experience, we all know, defining some standard de facto. We'll have to consider those when we try to provide something personalized for our client. That is even a good news. We could compete even with products or services better than ours on paper, because experience seems to be the winning factor in such competition. But there are other problems. It seems like organizations can leverage technology, or it's difficult for them to integrate different ones together, or they're simply buying the wrong market. And so then comes Gartner. Then last December brought us back to tough reality with this prediction. Most marketers are going to stop personalization efforts within 5 years for lack of ROI and data management issues. So the following question could be, should we really abandon all our personalization efforts? What is the gap between the market expectations and our company response? How could we reach those results without running into all these troubles? We're trying to provide you with our response by telling you more common mistakes and pitfalls we see when we talk with our clients and prospects, and we normally try to avoid them. I can spoiler you that most of them are data-related issues. Normally, we see that under clear bad results in terms of personalization, there are lots of different and hidden causes. We could categorize them in 4 main groups. Starting from the missing or wrong approach, normally it's oriented too much on content, and from the adoption of legacy or wrong technology that do not enable actions or that can scale, to the real mess of data management and integration, where lack of sources or wrong inferences define wrong actions. And finally, even some operative mistakes could increase dramatically the probability of failure for the whole project. Going deeper, we see that often too much effort, money, and focus are placed on the content, on the creatives, or on single points as pages, products, or services for single audiences or clusters. On the technical side, personalization is made with a mess of custom connectors from legacy systems in a static way with slow cycles, and AI is still a pipe dream. The foundation of every personalization project, data, is often inconsistent or missing. We notice a lack of some sources, no trusted data set, and a general lack of a single customer view through all the channels. If you add even the lack of a joint and omnichannel customer perspective and the typical assumption by some managers that pretend to know their customers and a widespread distrust for mobile channel, there is a large probability that even with a well-funded personalization project, the customer received the wrong personalization message and therefore has a bad experience. You know when you get that awkward mail that recommends you investing in visiting a city or a location that you have literally just come back from? That's what I mean. So, bad personalization does not only crush your expected ROI, but can even cause negative long-term effects on lifetime value and customer trust. So really, money has been spent on personalization, yet has worsened your relationship with the customer actually. So, to avoid this risk, we designed a kind of personalization framework for our clients. So, that's made of 4 main pillars. Think of omnichannel journey and design one-to-one engaging experience. Then work hard on data collection and analytics layer by validating numbers before inferring and collecting only what you really need. And mind, always notify your clients what you're tracking, because now more than ever you need their trust. Then design and invest on durable technologies, leveraging AI for scaling and aiming to make real-time decision, enrichment, and action. And last but not least, always test of segments before going live for everyone and measure results. Keep on enriching the customer record to improve precision in targeting, and mind to share to all the stakeholders the same and well-defined KPIs. Those are only high-level recommendations, and to get them up working, you need the right technology as well. According to our experience and to MarTech trends, this enabling architecture should be customer-wise and oriented and work on the whole data supply chain through 3 main phases of data collection, where all the sources are collected and gathered, the data management and orchestration phase, where data is enriched, integrated, and result in a customer record, and the final, the data activation step, where the action gets sent to different channels through the last mile tool. And to better understand how this target solution and its main features and how it can improve personalization results, I'll pass you over to Ulisse from our partner Telium, who can definitely help us in this. Thank you for your attention by now.
Great, thank you, Gabriele. So my name is, as Gabriele and Kelly already introduced me, Ulisse Sarmiento. I'm the Director of Solution Consulting for South Europe, and actually working from Germany and supporting South Europe. So Telium as a company, well, we work already since a couple of years together with BitBang and try to exactly be the technology to help the personalization, because we heard from Gabriele that this is a struggle. Nevertheless, so as you are all well aware, customer experience is the new battleground. With customers in charge and demanding a seamless, frictionless experience, the traditional ways of engaging with them will not work. And for the brands that they can respond, are 3 more likely to achieve above average revenue and profit growth. Saying that, it means it's really important to focus on the on the personalization. That's because 3 of 4 customers today expect personalized, relevant experiences, and the other 24% will get there soon. Relevancy in the real time needs to happen across the entire brand, not just in marketing. And this is really important, that it's not just the marketing that it's responsible for a better personalization. What does relevance in real time mean for the customer, for the consumer? 70% of customers say connected processes, such as a seamless handoff of contextualized engagement based on earlier interaction, are very, very important to winning their business. The gap is growing every day between the industry leaders who can deliver the experience, so we all know that deliver a really great experience, and those who cannot. And it will only get worse as more customer touch points, more data sources become available in the future. And if you can't deliver on the customer expectation, they will leave and they will go exactly those competition that manage to get a personalized experience. Think about a recent customer experience that you had. Are you remembering a positive experience or a negative one? So I think the negative ones are more in mind than the positive ones. Therefore, you need really to think about that. And I said, probably it's a negative one because of a poor customer experience in today's personalized area. Feels like the company doesn't know you, as you can see here on that screen, or it's confusing, or it's confused about all the data points that they have about you. With the right customer data strategy, your call center data will know who's calling and where they come from a website, or you know the right product to suggest based on their purchase history. The right customer data strategy connects the data so you can connect with your customer. The reason for that mainly is that every vendor, so you see here in that slide that you have different marketing strategies and different marketing stages, and you have different marketing technologies. And these vendors are creating more data silos. And this results in disparate data sets. Historically, companies have never had a role or technology that had the insight into the complete customer data set. How does it look like? So let's have a look on that. So in the past, what happened was we collected data, or the customer collected data from different data sources, from the app, from the web, call center, point of sale. On the other hand, we had the data activation, and we had lots and lots of technologies, analytics, email, social, display, search, and personalization for in-app, for example. And what happened was that every data source was connected to that different technology. And with adding additional technology, there was a miscommunication, and one technology got a totally different data set from what was expected. How can Telium help? Telium as a company did create a so-called customer data orchestration. Gabriele was referring to the data supply chain, and here is the way how Telium as a company can help you in that. A data-first approach is a unified and really starts with data. Our customer data hub, as said, works across 5 stages, and it starts with the collection, with the standardization, the transformation and enrichment, and then the integration and activation of your customer data. The power of this is that a holistic solution that starts at the point of data collection in every channel. Because what you do with your customer data ultimately is decided by what you can collect and how you can transform this data once it's collected. Telium's Customer Data Hub is designed to give you the most robust tools to manage data and at each technology on every stage in your marketing journey. And it's a full loop as data that you build and transform is available back into the devices and channels you start from in real time. And this is then important for the personalization. So let's start with the data collection. So think about having web pages or apps, and within those web pages and app pages, you have variables. In this site, you see different information about your home pages, what are the events, what are the browser, what are the devices that you are using. They are variables, right? If we drill down even further, we will also see variables about categories, information about subcategories, so what have you clicked and everything. Going even further on the product level, you get information about prices, about what are the colors that are chosen, about sizes. Everything is it's there in your website, and you need to get that variable. Basically, additionally, and this is also quite important, is that it's not just web data. Here you have also CSV files, data from offline channels, data from point of sales that maybe are not connected. You need also to ingest that data and have the possibility. And again, the same here, the same method. Having the data, drill that down into variables helps you to get it. With the data, you transform that in a data layer. The data layer still is a concept, and it's an old concept, but it's still valid because it helps you to transform the data variables that's coming from the different data sources into a unified view of your customer. So let's focus on what's happened next. Once you have collected the data, going to the transform and enrich part. So we talked about the data layer. Now the data layer needs to be transformed into something unified. Because with the data layer, you're describing the data with the attributes that you can see here. In this case, it was badge, number, strings. So a modification of data, because you want to have a granular set of data, you are going to transform them into different persona descriptions. In this case, maybe you describe them as a window shopper, a cart abandoner. You can calculate the total cart value, the number of purchase. Has he added something to the cart? What was the categories I've seen? And what are the prices of the items in the cart? This is just a subset of data that can be extracted out of attributes. Okay? With that data that you transform into attributes, you are doing something like this. You are collecting anonymous user data. You have already data about if he has abandoned a cart, what did he browse, has he watched a video, the affinity about a woman, but we don't know anything about the person. So we are going to start creating a profile. The profile says it's unknown and has those information, right? Now, if the person logs in, what's happening is that, well, we know that he has purchased after the login. So now the information will be stitched together, and instead of having an unknown person, you now have a known person, have the purchase information, you have the login information, but you have also all information from the history available. So it means the browsing history on his anonymous visit. Now, if we go further in the growth, we have this customer that we now know. We have the attributes that we have collected, and we describe the profile. Now we have also an additional file import, as I said, additional data source, where we have additional information, call center information, date of purchases, item purchased in the past, not only from the login. So, and with that, the profile will be extended even further. So why I'm going to tell you that? A simple reason is because that data, as I said, is really important to have and to use, because only with data that you have, going to the next part is you are going to use that for, to integrate and activate that in the different channels. And coming back to Gabriele's point, saying, okay, the experience, the personalization projects fail because data is missing. This is exactly the point where your personalization projects can be leveraged with data. How are we going to do that? So the personalized experience, again, coming from the different sources, collecting the data in the data layer with the different variables. Those variables are going to be enriched and transformed into profiles, into attributes, describing profiles. Then you are going to create the audiences, and what you are going to do is to use that audiences in different systems for personalization. Either it is an on-site personalization tool, or it is a CMS where you personalize your experience, but it's based on the data that you have collected. And it's always getting back, and this was the feedback loop that I already mentioned in the previous slide. It was that all the information goes back into the profile and enrich it with every interaction. So, what is a personalized experience? A personalized experience, well, it's really important that you discover the value of the audiences, enrich the audience profile based on the data that I have shown you, and then start the personalization experience. Within Telium, within audience stream, within our audience stream CDP, it's really easy to identify those different data sources, create unified profiles, and activate that in the right channel. I said customer data platform, CDP. What is a CDP? A customer data platform is a software system that helps you to present, unify, persist, and update your customer profile based on every interaction across every data and channel that you are using. It's also useful to connect to other, a CDP helps you to connect to other systems, to organize your marketing efforts. But as I said in the beginning, not only the marketing efforts, but also the data strategy across your company. 5 benefits, and if you followed my pitch, my presentation, you recognize them. So deliver a single customer view of your customers. Sorry. Impact marketing and customer experience, really important. Tear down data silos. Create a unique place of your data. Put the customer in the center and not on segments or the device in the center or the technology in the center. And finally, enable operational efficiency and business agility, meaning that with a CDP, you are able to manage your downstream systems with turnkey integration. You save development time, integration time, and you are focusing on your customer. Saying that, The key capabilities of Telium audience stream CDP is unifying profile, enrich data, segmentation, customer analytics, and finally, and I think the most important part, it's deliver personalized experience based on the data that you have. Thank you very much, and back to Kelly.
Great, thanks Ulisse and Gabriele. You've both been very clear, and it's been interesting to see that effective personalization can really make a difference to your marketing efforts, and that Telium can make it much easier to achieve, so that you can really understand your customer. So we have some time to go through a couple of questions that have been submitted during the webinar. Again, feel free to submit your questions below, and we can go through them now. So I have the first question here is, why is a CDP necessary to have a better personalization experience? Ulisse, can you?
Well, I take this questions. So why do I think this is important? Simply as, okay, you need to have a CDP, because with a CDP you can, as said, tear down the data silos, manage all your data sources, create a unified user profile, and use that user profile within your technologies that you use. We are focusing here in the personalization. So you feed your personalization engine with data, but think about other channels that can use exactly the same data. And this is important, why you should have a CDP.
Great, thank you. We have one other question that's come through at the moment so far, which, Gabriele, are you able to answer? How long does it take to implement a CDP to use for data personalization?
Oh, I use the usual, it depends. So I guess that from our experience, it could last, and it depends on your data foundation. So if you have already implemented as a data layer, if you have a tag management, as Ulisse mentioned. So I think that a reasonable and standard time could be from 2 up to 3, 4 months for the first use cases. Obviously, it depends on how many channels are you going to integrate, because as you have seen, this kind of project could be omni-channel. So our suggestion is to start integrating once a time. So normally in 2-3 months we are able to provide the first use cases and results. I don't know, Ulisse, if you agree with me, with your experience.
Totally, Gabriele. So this is exactly what we also see, and well, working with you together in the experience, I think you made exactly the point. Yeah.
Okay.
Great, thank you. We do have some more questions come through. One is, how will a CDP continue to function with an IPT?
Again, I think I take this question. So ITP, I think it's a really important topic. ITP, I don't know if everyone knows, but it is has to do with cookie limitation, third party cookie limitation. As CDP, and this is really important, it's not only focusing on cookies. It's not a DMP approach. And in terms of CDP and ITP, it is. So we collect data, and we try always to find also persistent identifiers, like logging, like an information coming from a contact center, a device ID, and we use that to identify customers. So we are not relying just on the cookie. And I think this is in a really fast way to explain on ITP and the impact. Yeah. basically, a CDP helps you to not overcome, because we don't want to overcome, but helps you with the ITP thematic.
Okay, great. Thank you. We have quite a few more questions coming through, so we'll try and cover a few more in this webinar. There's one, I think, which Gabriele can answer. How can this work for banks? Do they have enough and good enough data to improve cross-selling of existing products, or enable new business models?
Yeah, I think that from our experience with banks, I think that banks are one of the best vertical, and financial one as well is one of the best vertical where a CDP can product and give the best result. Considering the fact that, as Ulisse mentioned, that banks has a lot of first-party and second-party data, and so I think that bank more than other verticals, having as well branches and physical points of interaction, could get benefits by the adoption and the use of a single approach and joint technology for this kind of marketing efforts, in my experience and opinion.
Great. Great. Okay, thank you. Here's another question. What would you say the differentiators are between Telium and the other big CDP competitors?
Yeah, well, I think I take this question. Well, we get always this those questions about, okay, how do we differentiate in the competition and then in the landscape? And I think it's really important to understand that Telium is a CDP since 2014. That means, Telium created that genre of CDP. Saying that is that Telium focuses on data and doesn't focus on activation, on campaigning, on the execution. So focusing on data means, so we separate the data from the activation channels, and with that you have an agnostic view of your data, and helps. With the knowledge that Telium has in total over 11 years now, it has also an enterprise focus and delivers great and scalable technology.
Fantastic, thank you. We've got one more last question, which we can have time to answer. What is the best way to make a company understand that an online customer is not a different person to an in-store person, and that shared data is key?
Okay, so I'll try to answer. I don't know if it's on a vision perspective or on a technical one. For the first, if it's a matter of make the company aware of this importance, I think that obviously the customer is one, and so you get the problems in the experience or unbalanced experience, seeing the numbers. So if you lose a customer, probably you lose him not only for the product but for the gaps in the experience in the physical points rather on the online ones. Think, for example, at the luxury vertical, where you have outstanding experiences in the store, maybe not in this moment, probably, but on the online, sometimes you cannot buy all the possible products. And so I think on the vision perspective, everyone could understand that you are going to pay the errors or the mistakes in the designing the experience if you are not thinking of an omni-channel and joint strategy. On the technical one, how to do that, there are several ways, starting from customer loyalty programs, and so registering your customers in the store and then getting that information back. Or we are working on some projects on IoT and physical sensors in order to understand the movement within the store and matching other attributes in order to fill this gap and understanding both the behavior both online and on physical points as well. I hope to be clear enough.
Yeah,
okay,
just
thanks, Gabriele.
to back you up here, yeah, sorry, Kelly, my last sentence on that, I think just to back up Gabriele on that, is it's really important to change the mindset and have this unified data strategy.
Great, thank you. We just have one question regarding seeing this webinar after. Yes, it's on demand, so you can access this anytime with the same link that you have. So do take a look at that later. I think we're going to go quickly through a quick response.
Yeah.
From Gabriele. Thank you.
Yeah. Allow me some just few closing remarks, just to fix some concepts. And so I think, and we think, you should keep on personalizing your marketing efforts. It's definitely the good strategy. We have not to leave everything as Gartner thinks or predict, maybe, but we have to make up our minds and create a proper strategy to do it well. And we have to consider that it's not a matter of specific departments, but it involves our whole organization. So we definitely have to leverage data, and we have to validate it and make it trustful before using it. You should consider designing personalized journeys, and remember that the client's experience is omni-channel by default. And then, speaking of technologies, adapt technologies to your plan and not the opposite, if you can, obviously. And consider the adoption of a CDP like Telium Audience Stream, as this kind of solution is the real game changer in our experience for such projects and can really help your business to succeed. And said so, I call you Kelly, maybe if you want to close, and I thank you everyone for your attention and your participation with the question as well.
Yes, great. Thank you, Gabriele. Thank you everyone for participating and for all your questions that have come through. Again, do feel free to contact us. We'd love to hear from you. Your feedback is much appreciated, and I think we'll leave it there for now. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.